we're going to be looking at the debate, Sonic Forces model. Ever since Sonic Forces dropped, a lot of people have noticed that Sonic spines have become shorter, They've become shorter, they've lost their placement, I guess. Now, we're going to be looking into a couple of discussions, and we're going to see what the main issue is, because in Sonic Frontiers, they're going to be using the model again. Or at least I think. I can't really tell, First of all, a lot of people, let me get this straight. First of all, the model has only been used for like 3 seconds, and it's only been used in one picture, one little itty-bitty picture that we could hardly even see. It's only been used in one of those pictures. And second off, they kind of broke their legs a bit. I noticed that when they were showing the thingy. I noticed that. But even it hasn't been used that much, and if anything, it's probably been improved. The lighter. But anyway, we're going to be looking at a couple of discussions, and we're going to be seeing what people's main issue is. In Sonic Forces, modern Sonic's quills were drastically shortened when compared to Generations. His colors were also greatly desaturated. Now, one thing about this is, with Generations, right? Now, if it was between long quills and short quills, I would probably prefer long quills. But this picture in Sonic, from Sonic in Generations and Sonic in Forces, these quills kind of look too long. Now I'm looking at both of them. This one's too short, this one's too long. So I think they should find a nice middle ground here. Fun fact, if we use Generations/Unleashed model, Sonic would probably look purple due to how HE2, which is Hedgehog Engine 2, lighting works. He has to be light blue, which is very true. If you look at Sonic 06, he was also light blue, mainly because of the lighting around him. Now, it doesn't really change the fact that Sonic 06's model is terrible, but it's just a nice snippet, interesting facts to have. So this person went to do a comparison, and as you can clearly see from this first picture using the normal light blue, you can see in certain areas he's a lot lighter, and in certain areas he's a lot darker, which I actually kind of like. I like that kind of style, him using the same, I think it was what the Generations lighting. In light areas he's darker, and in darker areas he just looks purple. Now granted, this blue doesn't really look terrible, but if you want a nice, a nice blue shining off of Sonic, I suggest probably the light blue. It'll probably work a lot better in, darker environments, because you can actually still be able to see him. I feel like with the purple, yes, you can see him, but he's gonna be kind of hard to see. Made a comparison between the Forces and Frontiers model. Yes, it's the same model. Now, as you guys can clearly see here, this is a side-by-side comparison, and while it is indeed the exact same model, now granted, I don't know if it's just the model or if it's the environment in the back, but Sonic's model, and this is the same, I'm looking at the Forces one, which is supposed to be the one on the left. It doesn't look as, shadowed, it doesn't look as detailed. The shadow behind the quill isn't as noticeable, it's kind of lightish. But when you look at the Frontiers model, and while yes, my main issue with this pose right here is the legs, and the fact that this middle quill here isn't a little bit lower like it usually is in like Generations or Unleashed. He actually looks way better, as you can see his lighting, his blue is just way more vibrant and it pops out more. The fact that people have an issue with this, even though I think this looks pretty good as it is right now, it's kind of concerning, Yeah, nah, y'all tripping, lol. I love this model. You're free to have your own preferences, but let's not pretend this model doesn't capture Sonic's design perfectly. Also, I feel many are getting models/animations mixed up. That's very true. A lot of people are like, oh, the model doesn't look that good. It doesn't move. That's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the model and you're talking about animations. But anyway, let's look at the pictures here. Yeah, you can't lie. These pictures just look fire. Maybe when he says capture Sonic's character or personality or whatever perfectly, maybe he shouldn't have said that, because a lot of the models do. Well, everything past Unleashed and past that, I can't hold it. This model's pretty good. I'm not gonna cap. Now see here from the back, this is what I was talking about. See, if this middle quill right here, if this was just lowered like it usually is in like Unleashed, Generate, or in like basically every game apart from Lost World, then I wouldn't have a problem with this model. Like, the only complaint I see are his quills. It's legit not that bad. Classic still has way shorter quills. That is true. Classic Sonic does have way shorter quills. As a matter of fact, Forces more resembles 2D art more, as his quills length have changed to fit his modern 2D designs more, whereas it previously was not. Now, I have something to say about that, and I'm going to leave it to the end of the video. No one's pretending. Unleashed and Gen superior. Seriously, look how they massacred my boy. Classic Sonic looking ass. Never mind. Come on, bruh. You ain't trying to be classic Sonic fans that tries to defend him at all costs. Ain't no way this and Gens are worse than Forces. Here is why the model is so annoying to me. It's not the model itself that's the issue. It's the implications of the model that bothers me and many others. It's the idea that they're still using the same heavily criticized assets as before. It feels like nothing has changed. By this, I'm not saying the game will be bad or that nothing really has changed, because obviously we haven't seen the game yet. This is what looks to be an early sign of something that could be an issue in the future. So noticing small things like this is important for adjusting your expectation, because if you overlook a possible sign, you could experience disappointment. Small things like this have come back to bite us, like in the Sonic Forces demo, with removed features and flat level design. All in all, if they choose to go with this model, hopefully we get an entire makeover with all the animations. I'm not the biggest fan of the shorter quills, but it won't be a deal breaker. Just open up the next trailer showing us a different idle animation, so this debate can end already. Now, you've kind of already explained why this isn't much of a big deal, because we haven't seen game yet, we haven't seen the game in motion, we haven't seen the model in motion, we haven't seen Sonic move, so we've only seen a couple of images. Now, granted, this was probably tweeted before the images were leaked, but even then we haven't seen the model in motion, so we don't know how bad or how good it's going to look compared to the setting. Now, one thing that does bug me about this model is that it does stick out quite a bit, you know, like you look at this gorgeously realistic environment and you just see Sonic right here. Like, there needs to be something added to make him feel realistic, or at least to make him fit in with the environment, like maybe a fur texture or something. I'm really hoping that since this is beta footage, they'll change things, and these are just placeholders. They're delaying it for a while anyway. Sonic 06 is an example with the opposite outcome. That had a few years between the footage and releases too. Just gotta have hope. I haven't seen the 06 beta footage in a while now, and even then I don't know when they came out in the timeline for me to really have a clear connection between Frontiers and 06, so I'm not really gonna say a whole lot about it. I don't hate the model, I hate the animations. Comment the idle pose is just one frame. If they reuse force animations without any change, I'm going to vanish myself from existence, like 98% of the fan base. Well, first off, you say you hate the animations, even though in Forces, I don't even think he had any animations besides just the normal jogging and running. Now, if you're talking about that, then yeah, I can see, but also, you're not gonna leave. Everyone says stuff like, if this game is bad, I'm gonna leave, and then they just stay for the next game. So you're not leaving, you're not going anywhere. Sonic has caught you trapped, and you're just gonna have to stay with it. I get this. I'm not asking for a completely new Sonic model, but at least fix the issues with the Forces ones, so that we don't end up with cutscenes like this. Or this. Well, I was going to read one more comment, but my laptop decided to shut down, so I guess that's it. So this is where I have to give my 2 cents, alright? And I think I've probably made it clear. I don't really care about the quills being shorter anymore. You know, I used to be that one person that I was like, yeah, longer quills, but now I just don't care anymore. I also don't care about the Forces model anymore, because at the end of the day, it's just the model. If it's used right, then it's fine. We haven't seen the game in motion yet. We haven't seen any in-game cutscenes yet. So realistically, this is just kind of pointless to be complaining about over one tiny screenshot. And I don't even like calling it a game screenshot, because that's not even gameplay. It's just a, what do you call it? It's a tech demo. That's what it is, a tech demo. I do think the conversation with the model has a lot less to do about the model itself, and it has a lot more to do about Sonic's core design. You know, his design in games is heavily flawed, and that's why in cutscenes, especially in like it doesn't go just Forces. It goes past Forces. It goes to like Unleashed. It goes to Generations. It goes to Adventure 1. His design is heavily flawed, and it doesn't allow him to really move like an actual character. He has to move like he always has to move like a mascot. He's got a big head, he's got big hands and big feet. Like, compare that to the movie, where the movie he just animates so seamlessly. And granted, yes, the movie has a higher budget, but even then he animates so seamlessly. You know, he has actual shoulders, he has smaller hands, smaller feet, not too small to the point where it's just Alvin and the Chipmunks, but it's at least a decent size. Where you look at the Forces model and it's just big head, big hands, big shoes. Now, I'll probably make a video talking about how I'd want to redesign the characters, but for the most part, I'm not going to do that. In fact, I'm just going to leave right now, and we're going to call that a video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, leave a like and comment down what you think about the model. And yeah, I'm going to go now because I'm really bored. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, and I'm gonna go and do some homework now.